FlatsClass YouTube. I got something a little bit different today. This topic comes up now and then when people see my boats. They look at them and they're like, I'm really surprised that you put that padded marine flooring on your boat. I mean, what's with that? You did it on new boats. I was like, well, it's Aqua traction. I was like, I myself was very skeptical when I first jumped in. So I only did one boat. I did the Eldora. Well, after about 6 or 8 months every day in the Eldora, in the sun, beating it up, lots of the places I take the Eldora, I got to get out. I'm tracking mud through it. I'd spilt coffee in it before, and I have an open pole barn, and you can see I'm surrounded by trees. So I get lots of pine needles, lots of acorns, lots of leaves that leave stains on it. But I've always been able to clean it up. Always. Never have I not been able to clean it up. So I started thinking about it a little bit, and then I put it in my brand new Professional. So now the Pro and the Eldora have it, and they've had it for a long time now. It's been a year plus in the Pro, and it's been over 2 years now, just about, in the Eldora. And I'm super satisfied. Stuff looks great, doesn't peel up, nothing. It's solid as it gets. And I clean it not only with a stiff bristle brush and just spray sometimes, but if there's a car wash or something around, I use a pressure washer on it. It doesn't fly apart. I had used marine flooring in the past and been very disappointed because it wears and gets kind of fuzzy and doesn't ever look right. But the one thing that really changed my mind was a video that Josh Clymer, one of the owners of Aqua Traction up there in Minnesota, he did this crazy video, and it was a stain test. I was like, that's got to be bullcrap. There's no way. There's no way. You can't put Sharpies on marine flooring and expect a permanent marker to come up. He did everything. He was using Minwax, but I wanted to use real world stuff. So I got a piece of Aqua Traction, and I got a piece of a competitor's product. I'm gonna pour some black coffee. I got black coffee, and mustard is the worst. And I'm going to draw on it with my pen, my Sharpie, if you will. And we're gonna really see what happens. Watch this. So Aqua Traction, competitor's product. They're cut to look the same. This one has a pretty cool little grain to it and everything like that. The first thing I notice is how dense the Aqua Traction is and how much softer this material is, this competitor's material, which I know what it is, but I'm not gonna say. So I'm gonna pour hot coffee on both of them. Get it everywhere. I'm gonna let this stuff soak in too. I'm not just gonna pull it up. I'm gonna take mustard and I'm gonna shoot some mustard on it. I'm even gonna take my fingers and rub it in. And just so you think I'm not using the coffee as a diluent, I'm going to put this mustard over here on some dry stuff too. And rub it in. Everyone says mustard never comes out of flooring. I should have been better prepared. It looks like I'm going to need but then I'm going to also draw So competitor's product, Aqua Traction. Competitor's product, and I'll write on here, you can see it. Competitor's product, Aqua traction. Let's let it sit for a few minutes and then see how it works. Move the yellow mustard out of the way, coffee out of the way, and I'll even wipe it off the competition first. And we'll take a closer look. And then I'm going to wipe it off the Aqua traction. Next, now let me show you a close-up competition product. If I can get my shadow off it, you can definitely tell that there's some yellowing in here, and you can see all the marks. Same thing goes here on the Aqua traction. Some yellow marks, and you can see the Sharpie marks. Let me get a stiff bristle brush, and I'm just going to take an everyday citrus cleaner and start spraying it on there, and let's see how I can get this stuff to look after a little bit of elbow grease. I haven't done anything like this since like 8th grade, but I've let it bake now in the sun for a little bit, probably about 15 or maybe 16, 17 minutes so. And things are looking kind of stained, and you can see. Now what I'd like to do is just douse a little water on it, and then I'm going to use like a cleaner like Zep and just squeeze this on. I'm using kind of the same stuff that Josh recommended, and then use a Libman stiff bristle brush, same one I use on my skiffs. We'll see what happens. Coffee, mustard, and a Sharpie marker. Let's see. I'm letting it get cooked for a second on there, and then I'm going to start wiping it out. I'm using equal force. This is the competitor. I'm doing it first to give it an advantage. I use that to soften it up, and then I'll do one more. And then let me come over here and get it off mine. Aqua traction. I'm just using everyday elbow grease. I already see it disappearing over here. Put a little bit more over here. Make sure everything's all equal. A little bit more over here. All soak in again. Give it another minute or so. 45 seconds. Then I'll scrub one more time, and then I'll wipe down. Now this isn't exactly flat. It's the rib back of my truck. But I think you can get a good idea. I'm earnestly trying to get it off. Get the coffee out, get the mustard out. Best I can. Whew. So dry it up a little bit. Now I'm going to pour water on both. Man, I'm working up a sweat. And where's that towel? Get this towel. Now I'll put a little bit more water on it. Well, you guys can get a good look. I got more water. Don't tell my wife. Bottle of water for this. She'll be all over me. All right, let's dry it off. Now it's wet. I do realize that. We'll give it a few minutes. You can already see that the Aqua Traction came clean. We'll give it a few minutes. Let everything dry out and see how it turned out. Pretty much gave it a good scrubbing. Both of them a really good scrubbing. Yeah. All right, let's give it a few minutes and see if we can see any of the stains and really kind of give it a fair judgment here. Okay, I've given it a good 20 minutes, dry enough now where the dampness is out of it and we can really take a hard look. Now, I used this ZEP degreaser. This is pretty impressive stuff. It's HD concentrated stuff, so I did use the good stuff to clean it up with. And that is an aggressive bristle on that Libman brush. But let me show you how it turned out for both pieces of material, and you be the judge. So here's the Aqua Traction, dried out, and I'm trying to keep the shadows off it. Now, given that we acted fast on the coffee and the mustard, I don't believe either one really suffered from that, but it looks good. The Aqua Traction looks really good. Then we move over to the competitors, and it would seem like I got the coffee out and I got most of the other stuff out, the mustard and the coffee, but you can definitely see the permanent marker. It definitely stained, and that was with a lot of elbow grease, and I felt like I had plenty of equity in the rub on both of these so that you could see. But I think it's a pretty easy decision. Not only is it more stain resistant, but I mean, you can look at the thickness of the material here, and then you can look at the thickness of the material here, and there's definitely, you know, a difference here. And this, hard to compress, this much easier to compress. I think it's just the secret to this is it's so much denser. It just doesn't allow absorption at all in the Aqua Traction, where the competition, it may appear softer, but in the long run, it's going to be a lot harder to maintain. So here in the end, I think it's quite clear. Aqua Traction Advanced Marine Flooring wins hands down. And yes, I know plenty of you will remind me, well, you're a hired pro staffer by Aqua Traction. That is true. But when I saw that experiment that Josh did online, I was like, I have to try this myself. I knew my my pads cleaned really well on my boats, but I don't intentionally spill mustard, coffee, or draw with a Sharpie on them. So still, no matter who you are, that's pretty impressive. And here we are 20 odd minutes later. The competition, still a little bit damp. Aqua Traction, completely dry. So that density that it has in Aqua Traction really does make it impervious. hard, very hard to stain. If you don't believe this experiment, go check out the Aqua Traction site and check out their stain tests, and you'll see. It's pretty impressive. They put Minwax stain and paint and everything on this stuff, and nothing stains it. It's incredible. If you like these little reviews, all the fishing tips that we do, the Tidewater Diaries, FlatsClass TV, and the like, push the button, subscribe, because the more subscriptions we have, the more the sponsors get behind this, the more often I can do these little videos for you. All right, I gotta head out.